Dr. Bones, Dr. Bones, Dr. Bones.
And you're listening to Dr. Bone. Hi, this is Andy Roman from Elm Treason. And this is Bobby Steele from Elm Treason. And you are listening to the great Doc.
Hey, y'all, this is Michael Daughtry.
Hey, this is Julie Gibb. You are listening to Dr. Bones and Matt Anderson's on New Music Saturday.
Hey, this is Leslie.
And Jason.
Of The Sweetest Condition, and you're listening to Dr. Bones on New Music Saturday.
Right on, and welcome to New Music Saturdays, a year in rewind, hashtag AYIR, all capitals, and welcome back a special guest and a good friend of mine, Brian, who is One Man Standing. Welcome back to the show.
Hey, how's it going?
Very well, how about yourself? Oh man, we'd love to have you on the show. So, man, we have... to say the least, a kick-ass show tonight, and the Matt Andersons will be joining us for part 2 of the show as well. And we have like essentially the perfect mix of tunes, and we have electronic, we got rock, we got pretty much everything, for exception of a few genres. But we're gonna play some serious kick-ass music tonight. So we are gonna get kicking off with one of my favorite new bands, and I've interviewed them as well. It's Leslie and Jason, who are The Sweetest Condition. This is off their new album, which came out a couple months ago. The album's called We Defy Oblivion. This one's called Knock Us Down. Dig this. Welcome to Year In Rewind.
We were raised on the
right on. That was The Sweetest Condition with Knock Us Down. And what a way to kick off the show. That's from their newest album, We Defy Oblivion, which came out a few months ago. You can get it on their Bandcamp as well as do some merch, some nice t-shirts as well. And as I was saying off air, that I did interview Leslie and Jason, and they are great people. The music's amazing. And I suggest you go out and buy that album because it is well worth it. You can get the physical copy from their Bandcamp as well. But yeah, it's well worth it, and it's fantastic music. I mean, they really encompass a good like industrial electro feel to everything. And I've said before, and so has past co-host Mike G's. We've compared her to Amy Lee from Evanescence as well.
Yeah, I really I caught on to these guys a couple of weeks ago, and after hearing one of their songs, I immediately went out and actually got the record, and it's fantastic. It's produced really, really well. I absolutely love how there's just such a great blend of industrial in there, and I mean it was really awesome. Some of the synth bass lines that are in throughout the entire record are just fantastic. It was really hard to put the whole thing down. It was really great. It's definitely been played a few times on my player since then.
Right on, man. Just before we get to our next song, I just want to mention that I was on vacation a couple weeks ago, and pretty much Christmas week or leading up to Christmas. So anyways, point being is I went down to Detroit. So I went down to Detroit to visit my dad, stepmom, my two sisters, my brother came in from China, yada yada. It was a good time, but point being is we went to Hitsville, USA, is where Motown started, where Berry Gordy started the whole Motown scene, and actually lived right above the studio. And let me tell you, that was so surreal going into that place, because at one time they owned about 10 houses, 5 on one side, 5 across the street on Grand Boulevard, downtown Detroit. But let me tell you, man, what pleasure it was. And, you know, our guide made it that much better because she was so into it. Her favorite was Marvin Gaye. So I'm not sure if you can do it, but if you can request a tour guide for Hitsville, USA, ask for Cecilia. Trust me, you will not be disappointed. So we went there, and, we went on tour the whole place, sat down in a little theater, watched a little background, and, it kind of gives you a lot of stuff. And there's a lot of pictures on the wall. You can't take any pictures, which is fine because they're trying to preserve the artifacts, and fair enough, it makes sense, right? So, but just stuff I kind of knew about but forgot about, like Stevie Wonder signing his first contract at 10 years old.
Oh my God! Wow, that's
man,
awesome.
Well, man, Stevie Wonder's like a prodigy. Like I saw him downtown Detroit probably about 17 years ago now, and for their anniversary. And man, there is nothing like Stevie Wonder live. Like, I mean, that stuff is so good. And I got into him years ago, and wow, it's something else. But there's so much genius behind the Motown sound. For instance, for each show they played, they had a scout go out and come back with a full report, meaning dimensions on what the stage was like, the whole thing. So they make a mock stage, and they practice. They play this venue, they go and play, and they've acted like they've played there like a million times.
Oh my God!
I mean,
wow.
like it's so smart, and that's how Stevie Wonder was able to move about the stage when he got up and walked away from the piano, because he knew, because they practiced, right? He may have been blind, but he knew what the steps were and where to go. So it's just unbelievable, and there's so much other cool stuff. The other thing is, on the top floor, they have a place called the attic. In the attic, essentially like a hollow spot in the ceiling, and it goes straight up, obviously, to the attic, but we didn't notice at first, and our guide said, well, now listen to this, start snapping your fingers. Go, start snapping your fingers. Goes, hear that? Because that's reverb. Because listen to my voice, sounds different, doesn't it? It's like, actually, yes, it does. And that's how they made the reverb for the songs. They dropped mics from there that ran back to the studio, and that's how they got the reverb. And they got the bigger companies upset with them because they couldn't figure out how they were doing it. Because at that time, there wasn't a lot of technology for reverb at all, and they figured it out through the ceiling in the place. And that's like, I was like, man, that is just beyond genius.
Wow, that is super cool. Yeah, I can definitely see that. That's cool.
And just two more things, we'll get on to the next song. They also had Michael Jackson's Jewel Glove and Fedora from, I believe, 1984. And it had his name, it was the Jewel Glove, so it's in a glass case, and you can see on the inside of the glove that's got his name in gold written, right? And whoa. At that time, he donated $175,000 to keep that museum up and running. So, obviously, besides the donation, he'd been there before, and actually, my soon-to-be brother-in-law now, he told me that when Michael Jackson passed away, that the lineup to get an appointment for a tour was literally around the block, out the door and around the block.
I can imagine, absolutely, yeah.
So it's this crazy stuff, and the most real thing of the whole thing is going down to the original studio, which was not changed, not a mock. It's the actual studio that a lot of the number one singles were recorded in, and pretty much between the 50s and the middle 60s before they moved to California. So like My Girl, you know, and stuff like that. And man, it was so surreal standing in that studio, you know, and thinking this is where all that magic happened. And of course, the got us going. We had the original sheet music in front of us on the stands, so everybody sang at least about 3 or 4 bars to My Girl. But man, it was so cool. Like, and like it almost to the fact where it's gonna bring you to tears because it's so excited, and just the history in there are just so amazing.
Yeah. If you're really into music, stuff like that is an absolute dream. I mean, I've been to a bunch of different places, and anytime I get to a place that's musically involved, like different studios and stuff like that, it really hits a special place for you. It really makes your heart flutter a little bit. It's definitely cool. So I can totally appreciate everything that you're saying there. Yeah, that sounds awesome.
So yeah, if you get the chance, by all means, it's well worth a visit. And the one last thing is they're talking about like how they're actually groomed to look and dance a certain way. So the best example for the females is Supremes, hand on the hip, the other hand out, knee up, sort of thing. And that's for the females. But for the guys, for the dancing, especially the dancing was the biggest thing. And our tour guide says, well, do you want a shovel? Most people are like, well, yeah, can you dig? She's like, yeah. 2 digs to the left, 2 digs to the right. I was like, man, so simple but so cool though, right? Yeah. So that was. I mean, it was good to be together with the family, but that was literally a family trip. So my father, and pretty much everybody is music inclined, like whether they play or are really into it. So my father, my sister, my brother, Sumi, and Sumi brother-in-law, their ones were busy, so they couldn't come. But either way, it was wow. Oh man, I can't say enough good things about it. So next up, I'll stop blabbing. We'll get back to a year in rewind here, and it's a little bit of a rewind for me. So next up is Damsel in the Dollhouse. This is off her album Feast of Villains. The song is called War Boy. Dig this.